Alright, and hello everybody, I'm the SweetBro27, and welcome to another Dokkan Battle video. Today, we have my custom concept for what the upcoming Golden Week Dual Dokkan Fest could be. Now, there are many things that it could be. SSJ3 Goku versus Kid Buu. We could have an SSJ2 Gohan and a Perfect Cell. I was talking about it with someone on my Twitter, because then the Part 2 LR could be like a Bye Guys Goku. That would be really cool. MUI versus Jiren. There are a ton of options that it could be, but for today's video, I mean, if you saw the thumbnail, you already know if you're looking on your screen right now, I'm going to guess, just because we deserve this representation and we've all been talking about it for the longest time, the fight between Youth Restored, DKP, and Kid Goku. So we're going to have both of them, they're each going to be Dokkan Fest or whatever, and then I gave each one of them a side banner unit. No custom EZAs for this video, it's just going to be the 4 units right there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. So this will be Earth's Final Defender Kid Goku, or Goku Youth. He will be a Super AGL TUR. His leader skill will be Revenge, Kamehameha, or Battle of Fate category allies, 3 key and 170 stats, plus an additional 30% to those who are also on Bond Master and Disciple, Dragon Ball Saga, and Accelerated Battle. So real quick, let's go look at his 200%. Alright, so as you can see, we have his 200% here, so let's look. And obviously, right away, I'm just going to say there are a ton of LRs on here. But most prominently, we have Beast Gohan, who is one of the best in the game. You have the Goatmas. They probably wouldn't be too great on this team just because their support wouldn't be hitting this Kid Goku, I don't think. Their special pose and something else, I don't know. But it's still nice to have them. Orange Piccolo, obviously, he's still a very top tier unit. A lot of these LRs have kind of fallen off, though. Like, you've kind of fallen off, although I'm a defender of this unit, but I do agree that they are starting to fall off with, like, all the new anniversary stuff. But then you kind of go down to the TUR list, and they do also have several good TURs, like, obviously, Dragon Fist. You have, what's his name? God Goku. Let's see. You have Path to Power as well. Ironically, 23rd World Tournament Goku isn't on this leader skill, which is a little bit wacky. I guess it's because he doesn't have Kamehameha, which is a bit weird. Or Battle of Fate. I would assume that 23rd World Tournament Goku would have those, but that's a bit bizarre. But yeah, overall, I feel like he does have a very, like, all-encompassing leader skill. While, like, these 3 categories on their own, like, Revenge is definitely a weaker category, because the only leader they have is Dokkan Fest Bardock, I'm pretty sure, so giving them just another option would be really good. Same thing with, like, Kamehameha. Kamehameha hasn't had a dedicated leader, as far as I'm aware, since the SSJ2 Gohan. Like, I know the LR Gods and the Super Saiyan 4s, their 30% was Kamehameha, but just having, like, a baseline Kamehameha leader, I think it's definitely been that long. And then obviously Battle of Fate, you're going to have a ton of units on there. But these extra categories, I feel like, obviously, just give way to a billion different units. And you just have, like, a grab bag of super class, extreme class, plenty of characters who were, like, have the potential to super easy aim. Like, if we look down here, like, all of these characters are theoretically within range. Like, these 2 are units I really want to see super easy A. These 3 right here, just because how long it's been, and they have, like, a lot of stuff that they could do with, and that would just be another, like, Future Saga buff. Same thing with, like, this guy. This is a World Tournament unit. I would love to see him get something. This guy, I mean, he's very far away from getting a super easy A, but, like, this guy could get an easy A as well, but he, you know, that's just speculation. These guys will probably be easy Aing within this year or, like, the start of next. So there's a lot of, like, fun things that you could do on this team. And again, just look how many characters have legendary power that are on this list. A lot of different things you could do. I feel like this was a pretty fun one, if I do say so myself. Right, now for his super attack effect, it'll be faster than the eye can track combat. The effect will be he will raise defense, so he stacks, raise attack for 1 turn, and then cause immense damage to the enemy. His passive skill will be ready for an epic rematch. He has an intro animation which will activate when there's another Revenge, Kamehameha, or Battle of Fate category ally attacking on the same turn, or when there's an extreme class Dragon Ball Saga enemy, he gets a guaranteed additional super attack. He gets 3 key and 159% attack and defense at the start of turn. All allies get 59% defense for 3 turns from his first appearance. He gets an additional 159% attack, and launches a guaranteed additional with a high chance of coming a super attack for 1 turn from his first appearance. He has guaranteed dodge for his first turn from his first appearance, and then it's a high chance to dodge upon entering the next attacking turn. He gets an additional 59% attack and defense when performing a super attack. He gets an additional 15% attack and defense up to 159, and chance to dodge plus 5% up to 59% with each attack evaded. He launches a additional normal after 5 attacks have been dodged. He recovers 59% HP at the end of the turn when he dodges 10 accumulative attacks, only once. He launches a guaranteed attack that has a 30% chance of being a super attack after performing 5 attacks. He launches an additional attack that has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack after performing 9 attacks. He gets an additional 159% attack and defense after he dodges or performs 10 attacks, whichever happens first. He nullifies melee super attacks targeted at this character and counters with tremendous power, and the counters are guaranteed to be a crit. So there's a lot of stuff there that I kind of want to unpack. So let's first start off with his entrance animation. I actually really want it to be this scene right here where he comes in and saves the day. This is like right before he fights Drum. And then for the crit counter that he has right there, I know this isn't when he fights young DKP, it's when he fights old DKP, but it's where he like chomps down on the thumb. Goku bites several enemies throughout all of his escapades or whatever, but we haven't gotten that on a unit yet, so I feel like this would be like a very fun opportunity to do that. For both this Goku and the DKP that we'll get to in just a little bit, I did incorporate parts of their, like, both of their fights, where he was old and where he was young, and just I kind of just made it like a love letter to Dragon Ball as a whole. As you can see, there's many references to 5-9, that's going to be a repeated pattern throughout, and I feel like I really did give this guy like just a lot of stuff. Obviously, having guaranteed dodge on his first turn is very good. He's giving defensive support. He's going to be really powerful at the start of fights. And with all of these characters, because we've gotten so many long, difficult events now, like with Gogeta, Trunks, Cell, Max, the Red Zone movie boss rush or whatever, all these events are super long. So he will have plenty of time to dodge, because he has to dodge, I believe, 11 times to be fully built up. And then obviously after you do that, he gets the full heal, or basically a full heal, and all those other goodies. He's getting a ton of extra stats, an extra 159 attack and defense after he does 10 attacks, or he dodges 10 times, and then that part of his passive where he's going to get an extra 59% chance to dodge and an extra 159% in his just base kit is great. He's launching a ton of attacks, all of which, except for that one where he dodges 5 attacks, that is going to always be a guaranteed normal. I figured that would kind of balance him out, instead of giving him guaranteed additional supers, because he is going to be stacking defense. So I can feel like this character could very quickly become like a super unkillable unit. So I didn't want him to be too broken, but I definitely wanted to throw in just a lot of numbers, a lot of different abilities, and I feel like this would be like a very fun and rewarding unit to use, especially with his active skill, which is the Uzaru Kamehameha, which will be a beam super attack. This can be performed from turn 7 from the start of battle. This is just kind of like a little bit of a twist on what actually happens. Instead of him launching down the ground and punching him, kind of like a Dragon Fist sort of thing, I figured this could be like a Dokkan original what if sort of, if it was actually a beam. That way we could get like an entirely new animation, because I love Dokkan originals. I feel like they could do something really cool with this. So this will temporarily massively raise his attack. He has a 70% chance for it to be a crit. It'll cause destructive damage to the enemy and will nullify the enemy's next action. And if you deliver a final blow with this attack, he will get guard for the rest of battle. So why did I give him that? There are so many times, especially with the LR Gammas, there have been so many times that I've seen that people have had to waste the standby attack when the enemy just has like that little sliver of health. You know what I mean? There are so many times where it's like, well, if you don't do the attack now, you're going to lose it, or you might like waste time on the condition because it may be an HP condition. There's so many different things that could happen, and I always hate seeing those really powerful attacks, especially if they crit when there's just like one health bar. I hate seeing that. So I decided if you use this ability when you're at like full HP or whatever, you're getting an attack break, which is nice. I mean, that helps out the entire rotation. But if there's a situation where the enemy only has a little bit of HP and you're able to do this, you now have guard. So you have defensive stacking, guard, and just a buttload of dodge built throughout your entire passive. I just feel like that would be fun. I do, and I feel like that is a mechanic that we could see, because normally final blows, like, as a mechanic, suck, but I'm only putting it on the passive. He doesn't have to do it anywhere else. He doesn't get any other buffs. He does just get guard, and it is only on his active skill. And, I mean, if it's turn 7 and you're really relying on that guard instead of, like, trying to prioritize his dodge and everything, because guard, out of all the defensive mechanics, was probably, like, the least drastic you could do at this point. Giving him damage reduction with all this stacking and all that extra defense would be, like, very detrimental. Giving him another dodge proc would basically mean he would never be touchable, and even if he does, again, he's stacking at this point, he shouldn't be taking that much damage. And even if you gave him just, like, baseline, like, an extra 59% defense if you knocked it out, I still feel like that would make his defensive numbers, like, way too insane. So I figured guard, because, I mean, guard is out of all the defensive mechanics, it is very, 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 very good. But I feel like guard at like that point in a fight would be less impactful than just getting more raw stats, if that makes sense. But yeah, his links, he has Kamehameha, Guidance of the Dragon Balls, All in the Family, the Sand Lineage, Incredible Adventure, Turtle School, and Fierce Battle. And then he's on a billion categories: Low Class Warrior, Full Power, Pure Sand, Goku Family, Dragon Ball Seekers, Youth, Dragon Ball Saga, Kamehameha, Bottom Master and Disciple, Revenge, Rapid Growth, Saviors, Giant Ape Power, Turtle School, Powerful Comeback, Bond of Friendship, Accelerated Battle, Battle of Fate, Bond of Parent and Child, and Earth Bred Fighters. So let's go to his side banner unit. Hopefully that press escape to exit full screen will disappear. There we go. It is TN. So this will be Desperate Last Resort TN, who will be a Super Tech TUR. His leader skill will be Final Trump Card, 3 key, and 130 to stats. His Super Attack effect will be the Evil Containment Wave, which will be a Key Blast. This will do supreme damage, great chance to seal, and then massively lower attack and defense. His passive skill is Stopping an Immovable Threat. He gets 1 key and 59% attack and defense at the start of turn. He reduces damage received by 30% and guards all attacks for 5 turns from his first appearance. He gets an extra 4% damage reduction up to 40%, and an extra 20% attack and defense up to 200% with each attack received. He gets an additional 100% attack and defense when he performs a super attack. Dragon Ball Saga and Final Trump Card category allies get 40% defense. He launches an additional super attack if the enemy is an attack down or defense down status. He is super effective against all types if there's an extreme class enemy. He gets an extra 20% damage reduction. All allies get an extra 40% defense, and he himself gets an extra 100% defense from turn 7 from the start of battle. You're going to see a theme. All these characters, they get something good on turn 7. So this TN I was actually a little bit interested to see, and I don't actually know how good or how bad this character would be. Obviously, only having 59% to stats at the start of turn is very bad. Even with the 30% damage reduction and the guard for those first couple of turns, he is going to take a lot of damage just because his stats are not going to be very high. And he isn't getting any defense or anything on his super attack effect. So you may be wondering, like, what am I cooking up? Well, okay, well, let's talk about it. He's giving himself 40% defense for his support because it is including. So it's really like he's at 99% defense with 30% damage reduction and guard. He's still going to be taking a lot of damage. But you're getting an extra 40% damage reduction, and each time you get hit, you're getting a substantial amount of stats. You do have to get hit 10 times to be fully built up, which is a lot, but still, like, let's say you get all 10 of those within the first couple of turns, you're going to have 70% damage reduction, an extra 200% defense, and you're still going to be guarding. And when that goes away, you're going to get 20% more damage reduction, you're going to get an extra 40% from his baseline buff, and an extra 100% just for this specific character. And there are so many events now, again, these long events, where you're able to debuff the enemy. Cell Max is the most prominent one that comes to mind. When you get him down to a third of his health, you're able to seal him, you're able to stun him, all of these different things, debuff him. You're able to debuff Gogeta, you're able to debuff, I'm pretty sure you're able to debuff Beast. I may be incorrect about that one. Please let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But there's just so many things that you can do with debuffing, and if you do debuff, he gets a guaranteed additional. So you're going to be massively lowering attack and defense twice. And that's just going to be, that's severely weakening the enemy, and that's buffing the rest of your team. So not only is he giving an incredible amount of defensive support by, like, constantly, like, lowering the enemy's attack, it's as if he's giving even more defensive support. So again, I didn't really know what to do with this character, because I felt like if I gave him defense anywhere else, he would have been way too good as, like, a slot 2 option. You could theoretically put this guy in slot 1, again, because these long events, are they hard at the start? Yes. But you still have plenty of time to get built up. Like, I don't think this guy would die outright after he gets hit a couple of times against, like, Beast in slot 1. Because Beast, his super attack, like, at the start of the fight, it's like, what, 800k to 1,000,000? So, as long as you were just eating normals, you could theoretically get built up, like, super, super quickly. And then by the time turn 7 rolls around, this guy's going to be, like, a defensive god. I feel like I did a very good job with him. Now, the only problem with TN characters are the links, because the links are a bit weird. So he has Crane School, Telepathy, Infighter, Shocking Speed, Shattering the Limit, Guidance of the Dragon Balls, and Incredible Adventure. Obviously, having the Dragon Ball links are good, but Crane School and Telepathy aren't very common. Neither really is Infighter. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think about this TN, because I feel like this TN is definitely the most, like, out there of all the characters. But that is for the first banner, so let's now talk about DKP. So this is Earth's most ruthless demon, Demon King Piccolo, who will be an extreme STRTUR, which would finally give us a good extreme SDR unit. It's been a while. It's been a while. His leader skill will be full power, terrifying conquerors, and sworn enemy category allies, 3 key and 170 stats, plus an additional 30% to those who are on gifted warriors, battle of fate, or legendary existence. So real quick, let's go look at his category. Alright, so we have his leader skill here. I'm going to say that his is just outright a little bit better. So we'll see a couple of very familiar faces, like they both have Beast, they both have the Gammas, they both have Orange Piccolo, but obviously he's a villain character. I designed this character specifically to be a villain buff. He does have the best villain in the game on his team, and even though, again, I'm not making any EZAs, there are plenty of characters on this, like, team that could EZA. Like, this character, I guess, technically isn't out of the realm of possibility, either late this year or early next. I could definitely see something like that happening. But yeah, let's just, again, look at how, like, top-heavy this is. Right here, you have, like, number 1 in the game, arguable number 2 to number 5 in the game, top 10, 2 to 5 in the game. So many very extreme powerhouses. Now, again, villains aren't in a very good position, but obviously, again, you'll see in a moment, he's designed to help villains. So, like, he has Frieza on his team. He has Jr. on his team. Ironically, he has 23rd World Tournament Goku when the Goku unit did not. And again, he just has, like, a grab bag of so many other units. Like, this guy's going to definitely be EZAing this year. Same with Bojack. This guy is still very good, even though I don't think he would work very well on this team. He would be a fun little option. And let's see, are there any, like, super EZAs that could potentially be here? Like, you will be getting an EZA sometime soon, I feel sure. But let's see, you're in super EZA range, you're in super EZA range, so are you, No, you probably are. Actually, no, you are, what, a 2018 unit? So, yeah, these three, for sure. But, I mean, you, too, because you are technically the second ever EZA'd character, so, like, all of these are within range, and we could very easily see, because Super EZAs, out of the two that we have, the SSJ3 Gotenks and the SSJ3 Goku, they're phenomenal. So, I feel like this leader skill is definitely a leader skill that could cook. Alright, now for his super attack, it'll be the Masoken Eruption, which will be an other, so he'll do, like, a little barrage of melee, and then he'll do that one key blast he fires from his hand that blows up that city. This will massively raise attack for 1 turn and cause immense damage to the enemy, alright? For his passive skill, it is Ruling with an Iron Fist. He has an entrance animation, which will happen if there's another full power Terrifying Conqueror or sworn enemy category ally attacking in the same turn, or if there is a super class Dragon Ball Saga category enemy, he gets super effective against all types. He'll get 6 key and 159% attack and defense at the start of turn. He reduces damage received by 66%. He changes a certain type of key sphere, STR excluded, to STR. He gets an additional 5% attack per key sphere obtained. He gets an additional 200% attack and defense when performing a super attack. He gets an additional 6% defense up to 66% with each attack received or evaded. He gets an additional 59% defense for 1 turn after receiving an attack. He gets an additional 59% defense and a medium chance to launch an additional super when obtaining orbs in slot 1. Extreme class allies get 2 key and 20% attack and defense for 2 turns when he attains orbs in slot 3. He gets an additional 159% attack for this character's next attack upon receiving an attack. He has a high chance to guard. He guards all attacks with 2 other extreme class allies attacking in the same turn. And then he's immune to sealing super attack effects. So again, there's a lot to unpack there, so let's go ahead and get this started. His entrance animation. I know, again, I'm doing like very wishy-washy things. I wanted this to be where he announces King Piccolo Day, right? I want this to be like the TV broadcast, that everyone is being fearful and everything. That's what I want his entrance animation to be, just because that is such like a raw moment. It's so cool. It's so awesome. I love it. The next thing I want to acknowledge is something that we haven't seen very often is like, this is like an old thing in Dokkan. The only other unit I can really think of off the top of my head that has this is the Tech Rare Android 16, who is immune to this ability, the ability to be sealed. So there are so many characters, so many events or whatever that like they seal at the start of turn, they seal on their super attack effect. So let's say you would get hit by a boss who seals, guaranteed seals. Let's go with the Shadow Dragon event, Omega Shenron, that opening phase where if he supers, he has a chance to stun or seal you. If he got the seal, this character would be immune to it. Because I feel like that's not inherently broken, but it's not like some crazy, super crazy thing, you know what I mean? Because he's not getting defense on his super, and that was deliberate because he's getting a lot of other stuff in his passive. But I thought that would maybe be fun, and that's something I would like to see. Because, you know, there's so many, like, new things that Dokkan tries to do. Like, Cataplessa is a very good example of a character that is trying to be too different by doing, like, too many different things depending on what turn you're on, and depending on what orbs you get, and da-da-da-da-da. That means it's a very unique and interestingly designed character, but practically, that's not a very useful ability, going from being a dodger to, like, a character that can do a lot of crits. Like, you're a side banner unit. You're doing way too much. Now, this is already going to be a super good character, so just making them immune to sealing, they wouldn't be immune to stunning or locking or anything like that. I feel like that would be something that would be a little bit fun that we could try out there. Another thing, getting 159% attack for this character's next attack upon receiving an attack, that is what the same thing as LR Super Boo has. When he gets hit, the very next attack he does, it's like way more powerful, way more potent. I thought that would be fun because right now, again, villains are not in a very good spot. Are there some very good villains? Yes. Zamasu, Broly, Vegeta, Rose probably. I haven't used him, but like Rose should be like a decent enough unit. But there's so many of these missions, right, that are right now where it's like use one of every single type. And for villains, they have Extreme Hit, who just got his EZA and just came to Global. And then what is the next best Extreme STR unit? EZA Super Boo, who sucks until turn 5? Or are you using EZA Rose, STR Rose? No. There really aren't too many good options out there, so that's why I really wanted this guy to be like a solid defensive unit. As you can see, he has the damage reduction and all that. He's getting extra defense every time he gets hit. He gets defense when he's in slot 1 and he gets hit. But I also just kind of wanted him to be super powerful as well, because a lot of his passive is based off of him being like an extreme class version of Bulma. He has the damage reduction. He has the STR orb changing. He has the nuking part of his passive. I really wanted that because, again, there's so many villains, but not very many of them can go into slot 1. Like, early into fights, Zamasu can go in there, and I guess Broly can go in there early in fights too. Transform Broly can go into slot 1. But other than that, again, like, there really aren't too many units that can go into slot 1 for all these difficult events. Like, one that really comes to mind is like that Trunks event, where if you're in slot 7 and you get locked in slot 1, there are a lot of characters that I have to get hit to build up, who have to super to get build up and everything. This guy, he gets hit one time, that's an extra 59% defense right there, and he already has 66% damage reduction. So, worst case scenario, this guy's going to be fine in every single slot. He's going to be doing a lot of damage as well, because again, massively raising is insane. He's getting an extra 159 for his first attack, and he has nuking in his passive, and he makes his own orbs too, so he's going to be recovering a lot of HP. He's going to be doing a lot of what villains really, really need. And he doesn't need his passive at all. Like, you could run him on a different leader skill, because again, he is on like a lot of team. Like, let's say you're running him on Time Travelers or whatever. He doesn't necessarily need to be super effective against all types. That just means he's going to do a lot more damage, sure, but he's going to be very solid regardless. So if there's a really good Inhuman Deeds character that for whatever reason isn't on any of those categories, or if like Namekians becomes a top tier team, or Resurrected Warriors becomes like a top tier team, he's going to be good even without his entrance animation. So I was pretty proud of what I did with that restriction. Now for his active skill, this may be the most absurd thing I've come up with yet, and if you've seen all my custom Dokkan characters, I do tend to go a little bit off the wall every now and then. But this will be Eradicating Shinron, Kami's Dragon is no more. So, if you've seen OG Dragon Ball, this is like one of the most like shocking moments or whatever. It's right after he regains his youth, he blows up Shinron. He kills Shinron essentially. Now, again, I know I'm pulling inspiration from like every single fight from both interactions that DKP had with Kid Goku, and like Kid Goku wasn't even present for this or whatever. But like that is such like a iconic moment, and again, this character is very based off of Bulma. If you're looking at the kid, you can definitely see that this is just like a better version of Bulma that's also extreme class. So if you've seen her active skill, which I feel like everyone has, on turn 7, you're able to pop it. Shenron shows up, he changes the entire field of orbs and grants a wish. This instead would be Shenron showing up, and then it would be DKP just killing him. It would be like a raw as fuck moment. It would have like this really, I could imagine having like a raw, just like a metal OST would be really cool. And then it can be performed on turn 7 from the start of battle. Again, all these characters get way better from turn 7 onward. The effect is it guaranteed changes AGL and physical orbs to STR. Then he has a 70% chance to turn int and tech orbs to STR. So if you look at the start of his passive right there, it says that he changed a certain type of key sphere STR excluded to STR. So theoretically, at the start of turn, you may want to hold on to use this, because if you change AGL key spheres into STR, right, then you pop this active skill, you're going to be missing out on already transforming a couple of those orbs. You would really ideally want to use it if at the start of the turn you changed int or tech. Alright, so there are a couple of mind games you want to play with this, alright? But he's basically, it's a weaker version of just the turning the entire field into orbs, but you'll kind of see why I did that. So there's a chance that he'll turn every single orb on the field into an SDR orb. He gets 9% attack per SDR key sphere obtained. He will make all enemies target him. So that's like the Beast Gohan, that's the Gogeta effect. And now this is the most ridiculous part. Refills the Dokkan meter to its maximum once and only once per battle. So what does that mean? The idea I have for this is that you want to hold on to this active skill until you use your Dokkan attack, because again, I made all these characters for long, difficult events. So let's say you use the Dokkan attack on turn 9. You come into turn 10. You activate this guy's Dokkan, or you activate his ability. It is going to fully refill the Dokkan meter, meaning you would get yet another Dokkan attack, okay? So you would be able to speed up the process to do it again. Now that means that you get a very powerful attack that's also an AoE, and you heal a bunch of damage off of that. But the counteract that means that all the healing you would do from getting your STR orbs, that's going to go out the window. You're not going to get that. So even if you change all 24 orbs, it doesn't really matter, because you're going to heal all that at the end of the turn. Most events, they really don't have like AoE, so the AoE is not going to be very prominent or anything. It's just a unique mechanic that I really wanted to try. Because when you collect orbs, the more type orbs you collect, the more your Dokkan meter is going to fill up anyway. So you're kind of giving up on that ability the first time you activate it. The next time you activate it, again, turn 11, hypothetically, you could pop your other DKP's ability. Now, granted, you won't be able to maximize it, but by collecting, let's say, again, you get 24 orbs, you collect all of them, you're going to massively fill up the Dokkan meter. So there are some mind games you can play with this. I mean, also having the ability to protect your entire team, having all the attacks be targeted at him, that's a very good ability. He's going to be doing just a ton of damage, because he's already getting 5% attack per key sphere obtained, and then he's getting an additional 9% attack per STR key sphere obtained. He's already getting 200% extra attack and defense when he performs a super attack, and then he gets an extra 159% for his next attack upon receiving an attack, and he's launching on his super attack effect, he's getting an extra 100% because he massively raises attack. And if you have his entrance animation, you know, he's super effective against all types. I really would love to see this guy be like the most damaging unit in the game. It would be very, 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 very fun. Again, I don't know if I necessarily made this guy way too broken or not enough, because again, so many villain teams, like again, let's look at like the first form Frieza. First form Frieza is an offensive god, but so many units on his team, himself included, can't go into slot 1 and struggle in slot 2. Like, I don't even think Frieza's necessarily bad, you know what I mean? Because, like, he's not designed to be tanky. He's kind of designed to be like a slot 3 unit that floats but does just a ton of damage, and you hope never get super, because he can tank normals after he launches, like, if he does 2 supers in a turn, he can tank very well, and his active skill does a crazy amount of damage. Like, Frieza's like a well-designed character. It's just he's not well-designed for his team. If his team had a bunch of units that could go into slot 1 and defend, Frieza would be... I feel like Frieza, the whole community, would think Frieza's a much better character. Because Frieza's just a better version of Majunior, and Majunior was very heavily, like, regarded as a great unit. But why? Because if you ran him on 23rd World Tournament's Goku team, well then guess what? You have 23rd World Tournament Goku in slot 1. If you ran him on Zamasu's team, you had Zamasu in slot 1. But running 2 Majuniors wasn't always ideal, because even if you ran him on his team, I guess you could run both of the Golden Friezas, but you never wanted to put him in slot 1. You never had that viability. It was much more rare to have him be able to go in any slot safely. But if you ran him on like these very specific teams, again, Zamasu, 23rd World Tournament Goku, you had all these great options who could protect him, and then he could do all the damage he ever needed to do just a ton of it, and then he would be able to tank normals, and in certain instances, he would be able to eat supers. Frieza doesn't have that luxury. Again, Frieza can do way more damage. His super attack effect does way more. Granted, he doesn't have like a giant form, so he's not as like defensively versatile. But I do just think he is better. But like, what is Dodoria doing? Dodoria versus 23rd World Tournament Goku, like, there's no question 23rd World Tournament Goku is better in today's meta, and I think 23rd World Tournament Goku is starting to fall off. And I'm saying that with a character who has guaranteed guard after a revive and 1 million defense at the start of turn. So, that's just my 2 cents. That's why I really did feel like I wanted to make this guy like a solid option. You could float him if you wanted to, like let's say eventually he's not good enough to go into slot 1, that's fine, that happens to a lot of units. He's giving 2 key and 20% attack and defense support for 2 turns. He does have like so many fun little things that I feel like could really help villain teams. So if you wanted to float him early on to get a lot of constant support, you could do that. Because there are some villain characters, really the only one that comes to mind is Zamasu, and I guess Transformed Rose, because he has 66% damage reduction before he super attacks. So I guess theoretically both of them could go into slot 1. And you could float this guy, just making them more powerful, or you could put him into slot 1, which would probably be the much safer option. But various different things you could do with him. I feel like this is probably the best thing villains could theoretically get. That's why I think like DKP would be a great option for Golden Week. But I'm not really going to complain if we get Bye Guys Goku as a part 2 LR, I'm just saying. Or if we get Jiren, I mean, Jiren would be really cool. That would be a big buff to Topa. There are a lot of options that could happen for this Golden Week, and I feel like none of them are going to be bad. They're all going to be fantastic. Just throwing that out there. I'm super excited. But let's get back to talking about DKP. So for his links, he has big bad bosses, because I think it is so stupid that no DKP has big bad bosses. So I gave him that instead of Revival, because that's what the other LR had. Thirst for Conquest, Nightmare, Brutal Beatdown, Tough as Nails, Incredible Adventure, and Guidance of the Dragon Balls. And again, he is on a billion categories, so Resurrected Warriors, Namekians, Full Power Dragon Ball Seekers, Time Travelers Dragon Ball Saga, Terrifying Conquerors, Gifted Warriors, Storied Figures, Legendary Existence, Sworn Enemies, Accelerated Battle, Worldwide Chaos, Battle of Fate, Power of Wishes, and Inhuman Deeds. And then lastly, his side banner unit, which is going to be a Behemoth Brute Drum, who will be an Extreme Int TUR, who will lead Dragon Ball Seekers, category allies, 3 key and 130% of stats. His 12 key will be the Demon Rushdown, which is a melee, which will raise attack and defense for 3 turns, cause supreme damage to the enemy, sorry, a little bit up, and have a high chance to stun. His super attack effect, excuse me, give me some credit, guys. It's 2:51 a.m. in the morning. I'm trying to get this recorded for today, because I really don't want what happened last time with King Vegeta to happen for me to make this video, and then by the time I post it, there's already been reveals. I don't want that to happen. Because the Golden Week is, I'm pretty sure next Friday, because this is going up on Friday. So his passive skill is an Unseeable Threat. He gets 200% attack and defense at the start of turn, and he has a 90% chance to dodge. He gets 40% attack and defense up to 200%, and he loses 30% chance to dodge up to 80% with each turn from his first appearance. So on turn 1, he's going to have 200 to stats and 90% chance to dodge. On turn 3, however, he's going to gain an extra, 80% to stats, but he's going to lose 60% chance to dodge. So he's only going to be at a 30% chance. Something to keep in mind. All Extreme Class allies get 66% attack and defense for 2 turns when this character dodges 6 accumulative attacks, once only. He has a Scouter when another Terrifying Conqueror or Dragon Ball Saga category ally attacking the team. He recovers 6% HP with each attack evaded. He has a high chance to dodge after 10 attacks have been evaded. He gets an additional 66% attack and defense when performing a super attack. He gets an additional 66% attack and defense for 1 turn after evading an attack. All allies get 40% attack and defense. He has an extra 10% chance to crit, and he will change a certain type of key sphere and excluded 2 rainbow key spheres starting from the 7th turn from start of battle. So, again, this is just kind of like a little fun unit. Again, I wanted to do just something a little bit different. Also, I don't know if you caught on to it, but I made Goku and Drum both dodging-oriented units, and then I made Tien and DKP characters who wanted to get hit. I thought that would be a little bit fun. That way, like, let's say you summoned for this character, and then you didn't get DKP, but you summoned also for Kid Goku, and you were able to get him. You could kind of mix and match these characters a little bit, because they're all on, like, similar enough teams. I'm pretty sure they're all on each other's leader skill. This one... what is it? It's Revenge. Okay, he's not on Goku's leader skill, but you could run him on some other leader skill. You know what I mean. Just to kind of mix and match. They all, like, have very similar abilities, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I really wanted this guy as well to be a villain buff. So Terrifying Conquerors is kind of like the most notorious villain team, because that has like all the Friezas and all the coolers, and we're always going to get new Friezas, and we're always eventually going to get a new cooler. So being able to have a Scouter, especially with so many of these characters, like a lot of villain characters are designed to be like offensive powerhouses. Very rarely do we get ones who are like, hey, I can easily go into slot 1 and tank. Or I easily know where to put my character so that they don't die. So having a Scouter on a dodging support unit would be phenomenal for the team. he's giving a lot of support as well. 66% attack and defense for 2 turns, and all he has to do is dodge 6 times, which at the start of a fight, you put him wherever the most danger is. That's simply what you do. Or you put him wherever the most attacks are, or whatever. Because he's a character who, like, yeah, he may be getting an extra 200% to stats, but without guard or without damage reduction, this guy needs to dodge. So he has to dodge 10 times. So I feel like he could maybe be a little bit hit or miss. I'm unsure. Again, both of the side banner units I did a little funky things with, but I feel like he would be fun. Especially since he's orb changing on turn 7. That's going to help pretty much any team, any character, anything, whatever. I feel like I kind of cooked with Drum. Drum deserves some respect. Originally, I had this being Tambourine, but when I went back to rewatch, like, all of DKP and, like, all the saga from original Dragon Ball, I was like, nah, Drum deserves it because Tambourine dies way earlier on the Drum. Drum is actually, like, in the fight. I mean, he does die, like, he gets, like, 3-shot, I'm pretty sure, by Kid Goku or whatever, after Tien, like, failed to beat him in a fight or whatever. Fun stuff. But let's real quick wrap it up with his link. So he has Shocking Speed, Demonic Waves, Nightmare, Brutal Beatdown, Tough as Nails, Incredible Adventure, and Guidance on the Dragon Balls. And then for his categories, it's just Dragon Ball Saga, Dragon Ball Seekers, Terrifying Conquerors, and Accelerated Battle. But that is going to be all for this time, guys. Let me know, what did you think about these custom characters? If this was something very similar to this, was our Golden Week, would you be excited? If these exact characters dropped in the game and you had 1,000 stones, would you spend money on them? Or what do you think Golden Week is going to be? Again, it could be Jiren versus MUI, SSJ3 versus Kid Buu, SSJ2 Gohan versus Cell. I mean, there are a billion options out there. I mean, we could theoretically get like a Sand Saga Goku versus Vegeta. Like, we could get those as Dokkan Fest instead of LRs. We could get Kaioken Goku versus Final Form Frieza. There are, again, a billion options, and none of them are bad. All of them are going to be fantastic. But that is going to be all for this time, guys. I have been the SweetBro27. I'm a variety Twitch streamer and an upcoming YouTuber trying to make it big in the world. I have a Twitter, a Twitch, a TikTok, and a YouTube, the links to which can all be found in the description of this video. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, share me around, and leave me a comment. Positive, negative, or indifferent. I would love just any sort of interaction I can get from you guys. Again, let me know. What are you looking forward to in Golden Week? Do you want it to be Dragon Ball Saga, or what else do you think? And what do you think of these characters? Did I cook, or am I just like, should I get out of the kitchen? You let me know. But that's going to be all for this time, guys. So, as always, I've been the SweetBro27, and I am signing off.